Yo, Tony D back with an incredible indie offering of Mega Micro Reviews. Wake Entertainment with Dead Samurai, Bad Idea with Cul De Sac, and Image with Everything Dead and Dying. These three are absolute gems for your boy. The writing in these is the high point. Now, Dead Samurai is very much like a show on Netflix called The Kingdom. And what it is, we're in the zombie genre. It's in feudal Japan, and your main character is a samurai who is half Portuguese. So he is not honor bound or blood bound by the honor of the samurai because he's not full-blooded Japanese, which is a big deal. And he's continuing that honor where he is going to protect the daughter of the lord that he was protecting, who he worked for. In this issue, you're introduced to some more characters, so you're getting more of the character development. That tells me that this may go on for a while. I don't want it to be like 5 issues and done. The zombie genre has always proven to be resilient. It provides great introspection of the human condition. The very first issue, they did the whole thing where they figure it out. If you get bit, you're turning, and they did the amputation thing to one guy, and he's still around. And he's actually an archer, so I don't know how that's going to work. But this issue, really, you're just being introduced to more. I love this artwork. It's very loose. It has a charm to it. And okay, now here's a new character we're being introduced to. And this is our samurai. He's been injured, and he has to find, so he's lost the girl that he's protecting, the daughter of the Lord. So they are tracking where she may be. And this is where they run into this village. And it's just nothing but bad. So even though it's an issue that is, not fully packed with action, but it does have moments, very cinematic moments where, just like this in the fog, and also the chase scene in the beginning where the lady was in the river bathing, I might add. And they kept it tasteful. You know what I'm saying? This is cool, man. We have been bombarded with just nudity, man. Of course it sells, right? But man, they kept it tasteful. So man, hats off to them. Yeah, they could have, with this being like an indie thing, they could have went totally just crazy with it. It's a weird thing to talk about, but yeah, even my point being, there's some high tension moments where she has to escape. Like these two, they see this, what's going on here? These guys come out of nowhere, and you could really feel it, the whole hiding and man, don't even sneeze. She even gives you that, he's gone. And it's nah, right there. You have your moments. So, Dead Samurai. That's a win for me. I'm going to keep going, and hopefully it keeps running. I get limited series and all that, but man, I'm ready for some fresh ones that are going to take us for a ride. Speaking of a ride, I think this one's going to do it. I may do some research to find out. But Cul De Sac, Jonathan Wayshak, is an incredible artist. It is over the top. The characters are charming with the kids. It's that perfect blend for this because the kids are funny in this, but you have this parallel and contrast of the just the horror of the vampiric lore just right on you. But the kids are I'm becoming very attached to these kids. There's definitely emotional investment where you can't help but fall for them. And a lot of that is from Wayshak's artwork. So they were in a car wreck, and one of their One of them seems to be dead, but he heals because he's one of the vampires. And they're called necrotel. They're different than regular vampires. And this is one that is hunting them. And she's pretty bad. And also you have a group of vampire hunters that it's like an organization you're introduced from the get-go. They're tracking them, but I believe they are starting to figure out, okay, there's something different here. There's something else going on. So you get that narration going through the book. And the kids are still finding things out. So they need to make it to a certain vampire that is in Texas. Well, the vampire have captured him in his home, and he's starting to give you clues in the narration about the kids, how they're not real vampires. And he's so tired of everything, he just starts giving them the information. So the lady vampire that's hunting them, that's just over the top crazy, she gets into it. So they have a good battle here. And it's not, I don't get the cinematic feel from Wayshak, but I get the movement of the action with everything going on and over the top with his style. It's just a magnificent ride. It's more of a roller coaster ride than a cinematic offering. And I'm totally enjoying this. I didn't know who Wayshak was until this, but been in the game for a while from what I hear. So one of our necrotils, she gets very upset and she transforms, and they didn't know this. And she takes a niblet out of old girl. So this is a big development. If you were a speculator on keys, this would be a key where one transformed into whatever their form is. Because I don't think it's just vampire. She's very he keeps it different, Wayshak does. So they have this new discovery and he tells them everything. So what we find out in this issue is they have another ability, and they are a threat to regular vampires because the bite of a necrotil is extremely poisonous. So the one that just got bit, she's got to go for the anti-venom as quick as she can. And they go into very deep detail of this bite. And then we have another appearance of the main antagonist who's orchestrating things from behind the scenes. And you just don't know with this character what the intentions are, what's really going on. There's been a lot of mystery around that. And it's starting to flesh out in the narration, which I can appreciate, where it's got that hook where you want a little more. And what happens is the lady that got bit, she wants to do this all on her own, very driven, has a lot of revenge on her mind now from losing to these kids, embarrassingly. And she, it's personal now for her, but it's just so funny. These are all leaders of vampire clans, and they give the phone to this character right here, like a little kid with missing his teeth. That's the humorous stuff. And he's like, hey man, my guys are going to help you out. And it's just like, boom. It's like an army of vampires. And the cool thing is they have swords and they have submachine guns. Okay, now we're getting vampires, armed to the teeth. And then you get a little niblet for the next. Totally love it, man. I love Cul De Sac. I'm on for the ride. Next but not least, Everything Dead and Dying. This is a very dramatic, very heart-wrenching story. And the covers are just incredible. You can just say, oh, that's gross, but it really hits you in the face. It's unapologetic, and it is what's going on in the book. This guy, our main protagonist, he's immune to the virus that causes the undead. And there's these flashbacks that he have. It's very heavy, the flashbacks, but it's setting you up for his pain and his torment he's going through now, living with the dead. But he feeds them. He keeps this little town in check by feeding them, and it's his routine. It's It's what he does to keep that thread of sanity that he just barely is hanging on to. And his family, his husband and his daughter, are zombified, and he feeds them. So what we have is a group of people have run across this, and they're just now figuring out what this guy is doing and that he's immune and he's actually living with the undead. And it's very dramatic. Like, you can feel the tension. Things are like happening, and you're just like, somebody can just pull a trigger and set something off. So the narration is on point, and the artwork is very reminiscent of The Walking Dead. I feel like this is the next Walking Dead, but it's different. Like I said, the zombie genre is very flexible. And you wouldn't think that, right? You would think it's the same old song and dance, which we get a lot of, right? But it's flexible enough where a great writer, artist combination can come along and come up with something fantastic like this. The daughter being fed is somewhat controllable. And he's always flashing back to what he had to go through being married to a man and have an adopted daughter, which provides more dramatic narration. So he went through a lot being married to a man in that manner, where it translates over to going through a lot in this new world. So he's not a stranger to that, being different, which he is here. So this guy that he has as a hostage, his goal in this issue is just to get these people out of his town and try to, adjust. Because they've killed it's kind of funny, they killed his mailman and the guy that he was married to, who was zombified. And so this group, they're finding out, like, as long as they stay calm, that they're not being attacked. So in this universe, the undead, if they've had food, they're not just attacking for no reason. So you have where they meet at a bridge. He's going to give them back Zeke, and he just wants their word. They just won't come back. And the leader of this group, they have a structure in this apocalyptic world. The leader of this group is trying to keep that structure intact where they can not lose any more lives. But you find out in this issue, they're running out of food. That's why they're out like this. And you know what that means. The human condition, when you run out of food, like if you're in a survival situation, all bets are off. But that guy, he's trying to hang on to the structure where it doesn't unravel in the chaos. And that's what happens. Even in real life, you run out of food. I mean, it gets to where it's every person for themselves almost. The stakes are high, but there's also that pulling of keeping it together. And here's more of going back. It's sad, man, that these are perfect flashbacks to get you invested in the characters. Like, it literally got me invested in the girl, even though she's one of the undead. There's a character development there besides just a zombie. So that's a fresh take right here for me, is the investment and development of an undead character through flashbacks. It's pretty genius, really. And they're starting to, as you can see, look, she's fed. He's being quiet. She's not attacking. So he sets up a meeting point to do to trade off, and he just wants to go back to what he was doing. And you know what? There was nothing wrong with what he was doing, but they ain't got no food. And this guy's a farmer too. And then you get, she gets old boy because they start yelling. See right here? He's yelling, and the guy told him to be quiet. So she gets a bite of him, so you know what's going to happen. And you get a lot of great narration where this character, Zeke, he's just tired of it. And I was feeling an investment there emotionally, because he was born into this world. He's not someone that was already alive. That's how long this has been going on. And he's just tired of it. They open up on, one of them's had it. It's the dead are the dead. There's a big comparison between the hating these zombies, and also the comparison that, I mean, that gay people would go through being attacked for being different. It's in the narration here, but it's done extremely well. So Zeke is he's just done it. So right now they just blow off his daughter's arm. Pretty graphic, but here's your cinematic type paneling. I love how the rain is rendered and just the color here, all red. And I mean, that happens right there, man. That's a potty mouth panel. Blah. It really is a tragic panel. And so he's just trying to, like, this whole thing is just spiraling out of control. I think he throws her to save her. And the narration is so, like, emotional. And it's on, both parts of it. The guy that just, Zeke, what he did. And then it goes to this lady's looking around for stuff, and they run into the word farm. So, like, what I'm saying, like, with them running out of food, the word farm, they're going to have to take this over. You see how it's set up. Hunger is going to force them to just go. So, 3 great offerings. The zombie genre lives on, and the vampires are vampiring. Get it?